Why would one wish to be a single drop, struggling against the currents of the vast ocean, when one could simply be part in union with that vast ocean of consciousness? I mentioned a time or two in the most recent videos about the importance of high frequency, of raising vibrations, how everything is frequency. I had that notion further confirmed for me by the way of an interview I heard earlier this morning with James Gillian. And if you're not familiar with this individual, let me share the information. James Gillian, author. I've first heard of James through being interviewed with with Elena Denon and Michael Salas, but he's also, known for information with UFO contactee. And the interview I heard this morning was with James on the Coast to Coast AM radio show with George Norrie, Art Bell, et cetera, et cetera. But James was being interviewed by Connie on the Coast to Coast show this morning that I was able to listen to and further confirmed everything is all about frequency. He further confirmed that the struggle, the white hats, black hats, the forces of evolution versus the forces of entropy, which is going on right now on this planet. And he identified the players in the dark force side of things, as I've mentioned, the reptilians, the certain factions of what are known as the Greys, those ETs, and how they're working in conjunction to keep the frequency of mankind at the very lowest levels, because that's what they feed off of. And their system of control is dependent on keeping mankind at a very low level of consciousness and trauma, where basically, we're in a constant state of fight or flight and never getting anywhere because we're always at odds ends with one another. We're always in a contentious mode, if you will. We're caught up in that trauma of being isolated drops from the vast ocean of consciousness. And it's futile. And anyway, it was very, informative for me to hear this interview with this man. And also I have to mention James Gilliam, because I was one of these people formerly, the military broke me. I went in the U.S. Army at the age of 17, and I was an active individual, but I was just an undisciplined, lazy individual, and still am to some extent. But as far as getting up and dominating the sleep, the military definitely put me in that mode where I learned how to, operate on a couple hours of sleep. And but anyway, point being, along with the military indoctrination and training with energy use and recuperation, which was a very Spartan existence, like as far as amount of sleep invested for a 24-hour cycle versus active. So you get what I'm talking about. But anyway, that conditioning, along with reading the Epic of Gilgamesh, and the memories of that myth, which really is not so much myth as it's stories of the Anunnaki um, and their first, experiences here on this planet. But anyway, Epic of Gilgamesh with one of his trials to achieve immortality. He was, I forget exact, but he was dealing with members of the underworld, and one of the trials for him to achieve immortality was being able to stay up for 7 days straight. Um, and he had to accomplish that, 7 days without sleep. And that was one of the goals, the obstacles that he had to overcome. I don't think he made it, but he wasn't granted immortality. However, so those kinds of things in my mind, I was always very one of these people who would just push to the limit. And but hearing James Gillian in an interview talk about how how important our sleep cycles are, and healthy sleep, and more importantly, that is the time when we go up to the ships, to the light ships, to the Christed extraterrestrials, and our astral journeys. That's when we're being healed. That's when we're being educated, and I'm a firm believer in that. And I've since encountering James Gillian's work, and I've taken much more healthy attitude towards my sleep cycles, and also melatonin. I want to recommend melatonin because that's the essential compound chemical ingredient for your pineal gland and your third eye and all of your spiritual gifts. And melatonin, I take supplements, melatonin supplements, so I want to recommend that to people. But mostly taking care of your genetic vehicle and high frequencies. That's what Mr. Gillian was talking about when he was being interviewed on Coast to Coast, where I just heard how everything is all about frequency. And there's a war going on between the forces of light, the forces of dark on this planet, the white hats, black hats, to use that terminology. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of pass that information along. And also with on that high frequency topic, this is a channeling that I didn't get this information. It's from Daniel Scranton, but I want to read this channeling that Daniel Scranton had received in regards to energy work and such. Here's the channeling from Daniel Scranton. It says, "We are the Arcturian Council. We are pleased to connect with all of you. We are listening, watching, waiting, and reading the energies of all of you who have agreed to be the leaders of the expansion of consciousness there on planet Earth at this time, because we know that when you can handle more, your fellow humans can also handle more of that which we send to you energetically. We know that you can ground in what others will access later on. And we also know that you work with all the energy fields that you have access to, including the energy fields of your fellow humans. You can see yourselves as spirit guides in the flesh to those around you, because that's what you are. You're emanating such a high frequency that you influence others to also be in a higher frequency. You offer others what they need and what they ask for, whether they know it or not, and whether they are asking consciously or unconsciously. That is why we are so happy to have you there as our ground crew members. And there are many councils and collectives up here in the ninth dimension who are also working with each and every one of you that we consider to be a part of the awakened collective. You are also helping those who are awake, but who are a bit behind you in your understanding and in your vibrational offering. And we know that even if you do not, you will of course become more aware now of what you are doing when you are around other people. You feel it and notice it. And the chances, you feel it and notice it, and the chances that They are increasing all the time, that your people that you're around, that they notice that you're higher frequencies. You're going to find people gravitating to you because of what you can handle energetically and because of what you emanate to them. You have the ability to put people in a better mood, to help them come to realizations that they have been seeking out, and to activate their spiritual gifts and abilities. You are anchoring in more of the crystalline energies and therefore can see yourselves as walking crystals as well. And we always trust that you will be where you are needed most in every moment of every day because you always are. Now, we work with you while you are asleep as you travel the astral plane, and we work with you during the day when you are awake. This gives you more power, and you need that power to influence and to create change there on earth as needed. You are awakening others with your words and your stories, but you are also doing so with your presence and with your intentions. You want others to join you, and you want them to succeed. You want them to feel good so that they will do good in the world. And we are supporting each and every one of you in all of this. And you can expect more of that support now that we have noticed how much the Awakened Collective can handle energetically, how much you are grounding in, and how much you are spreading out to the entire human collective. This is a wonderful time for all of you to be very active and to be very fruitful. It is a wonderful time for you to be very expressive and to get out there into the world and serve humanity in the way that you intended. We are the Arcturian Council, and we have enjoyed connecting with you. So that was just a little channeled reading. Not my channel, but from Daniel Scranton. He's quite active on YouTube with the Arcturian and ninth dimensional spiritual entities. So yes, let's be the ocean rather than the little isolated drops that eventually fall back into the ocean anyway. So what's the harm in just operating from the consciousness that we are the ocean, that we're one unified consciousness, and that our frequencies and the high frequencies actually impact the world around us rather than being into this, caught up in the digital matrix and just that low vibratory, just, that negative existence, so it's all, as Mr. Gillian reinforced for me this morning, it's all about high frequencies. I encourage anyone who's watching this video, if they haven't heard of James Gillian, look him up. And he has a ranch up in northwest part of the United States. And also he's got it's called ECETI, and he does like guided tours for people that are looking to connect with, see actual light ship, the UFO light ships, ET ships and whatnot. He has a vast experience and information about all that. Like I said, he was impactful for me when I heard him talking about when we sleep. He was being interviewed by Michael Salas, and he said that when we sleep is when we get our energetic healings and our interactions, when we our sleep bodies, when we travel in the astral plane. And I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I have my, I don't know. I mean, I have my own personal ship that I see quite often, and I've never revealed that before. But I guess in a sense, I'm a UFO contacting experience, but a big mothership that's just right out my windows and for months at a time running, and it's all caught up with my sleep cycles. And when I'm getting healthy sleep and everything, it's all that works together. And so it's time to be to get out there. It's springtime, everybody. Just disconnect from the digital matrix and reconnect with your human matrix, which is the divine matrix back to source. Namaste. Namaskaram.